All right, good evening. It is June 17th, 6:30 p.m., and I now call this meeting to order. That's item number 2. I'm going to establish a quorum. I have Dr. Howell, I have Commissioner Garcia, Dr. Saldana, Commissioner Martinez, and myself, Mayor Montoya. We have a full court. Therefore, having a quorum. Moving on to our invocation. Commissioner Garcia, if you wouldn't mind, sir.
Bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the blessings you have bestowed upon us and and our community. We ask that you be with us tonight and give us the guidance and the knowledge that we need to make the best decisions for our community. We ask that you be with everybody here tonight, that as they travel home, that you be with them, put a hedge of protection around their vehicle to guide them home safely. We ask that you be with our servicemen across the world, that they're away from their families, that you be with them, protect them. All this we ask through your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Commissioner. Pledge allegiance. I'll go ahead and lead that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving on to open forum. Ms. Secretary, anybody? Okay, we have nobody for open forum. Moving on to presentation. Item 6A, presentation of the FBI LIDA Agency Trilogy Award to the Mercedes Police Department and Command staff. Yay.
Mayor, City Manager, Commission, thank you all. I kind of wrote something, but I would like to express it with thoughts and from the heart. Y'all can get closer. Come closer. So our agency has successfully been awarded the FBI Leadership Trilogy Award. I believe I could be a little off on the numbers, but as of now, I've confirmed that 2 agencies in the Rio Grande Valley currently have it, and we would be the 3rd to be accredited with this award. Gonna give a little bit of history real quick because I gotta commend how it all started. This goes back to roughly around 2019 when former Chief Macias was here. I remember him having a word with us, and we were facing a different time in our agency, different changes, and he wanted to give us something back to the community, to the PD, something meaningful. So he gave us the opportunity, to some of us standing here, he gave us the opportunity to start this trilogy. So we took our first institute of leadership during that time. Throughout then, I know that we had changes of administration, but make no mistake about it, the men that you see here have stuck it out. They're loyal to you guys, to the city, to the citizens. Doesn't matter of all the turmoil that's happened before or not, or the changes or gossip. These guys stay focused, and they're here, and they went with pride to represent Mercedes to complete this trilogy. As we continued our going to these leadership trainings, I noticed that prior to them going, we would talk amongst what's to be expected, to be open-minded. You can see here that we're very young. Even with Bocanegra here, where's Bocanegra? we're very young leadership. Yeah, but let me say this. With this little, by the way I speak here is the way we speak at the PD. As you can see, there's no hiding from us. I don't have to act differently around them. They don't act no different around me. We are very young, but we look at what others are doing, what's working, and we bring it to Mercedes to succeed. We stay focused in what the mission is, and that is getting the public's trust. And that's still going to be an ongoing thing for us, but nothing that is said or is going to turn our mission away. We're going to continue to be here. Some of us have gotten offers from other places. We're here to stay, and I just wanted to publicly say that. We're not going anywhere. I think that the decisions that from the leadership, where it starts from you guys, it's trickling down, which is motivating us to what direction the city's going, and we want to be part of that direction. Which is why I know that some of you in this room have seen the police department get engaged in different things such as Little League, community-oriented events. Even if it's a simple sit down at breakfast with a citizen, you'll learn a lot from that. Uh, Here, in combination of everything that we've been able to achieve, has been literally together. My decision is not always the right one. So we sit down as leaders, we talk amongst things, we ask. I've learned something from each and every one of these individuals up here, that's for sure. But not only do we touch on the business side of things for law enforcement, we relate back to our homes, to family. Because at the end of the day, we need to work on ourselves to better ourselves at home and, of course, here in the community. So we do take into account everything that some of the employees have going on in their personal lives. Some might be going through hard times medically with family. Some are getting good news of becoming fathers or mothers. We sympathize and empathize with the employees. And that's going to continue to do great things for us. I think that you have a strong team here. And I'm not saying that I'm going anywhere. All I'm saying is that our conversations were for the future. It doesn't matter who the man is that takes over after us. This is where it starts. We needed to have a starting point to get Mercedes to that level. So what we're doing here is not something for us just to say, we're going to take the credit and then go somewhere else. This is for the men and women in uniform that are for to come in the future of Mercedes. That's what it's for. And I mean that from the heart, and I think y'all can see that in the way that we express ourselves and the way that we communicate with the people out there. I know that the majority and the silent majority really support everything that we're doing as a city. And I have to say as a city, because the police department wouldn't be anything without the support of the fire department, without the support of our city management team and our city council, and all the rest of the employees really that give us that open door. It's truly a team effort. None of these guys wouldn't be here if they didn't mean it, that they didn't like it here. We love it here. We're here to stay, and we're here to continue progressing for the city of Mercedes.
Good job.
The FBI Trilogy Award, it really focuses on the command staff side of things. That's anything from a chief, assistant chief, to lieutenant or captains, really. And depending on the size of the city, of the agency, it varies based on rank. So we wanted to just take it up a notch, and we wanted to send our first line supervisors to this type of training too, which is why our sergeants went through all the supervisory trainings to bring back that knowledge and learn from a lot of people. While we're there, we have people from the Alo County Sheriff's Office, DPS, outside agencies. Some of our guys had to travel to Corpus Christi and meet agencies from all over the nation, really. So we have, I want to introduce, you don't have to speak, or it's okay, because I know he's a man of few words, but his words are always on paper, that's for sure. So Lieutenant Orlando Diaz has 20 plus years with the city of Mercedes, and he's given a lot of himself, his time, his dedication to the city. We have Lieutenant Rodriguez. He's from far Texas, grew up in a rough side of town, comes back and sympathizes and realizes that how his prior, I guess you can say, leadership from home experience can bring back to really gain trust of the public. We have Sergeant Cuba here, who, I don't know, I think every day he's trying to take my job. But this gentleman here, when he came in, I know that he moved up the ranks really quick. But one thing I noticed about him also was that he always focuses on the positive of things. And he actually has a little bit more time than I do in law enforcement. And it's of no shame to me that I say that I learned from my staff that you see here today. We have Sergeant Salvador Gonzalez, who came to me a long time ago as a rookie officer, saying that he's lost and he doesn't know what to do and he might apply somewhere else. And I'm glad that to see him now standing next to me in this organization, in this industry, as a sergeant. He's got a lot to learn, and but make no mistake about it, he's always around and always wanting to help, and he's quite the jokester, but he makes my day all the time. And last but not least, we have our homegrown, our hometown boy, Alex Bocanegra. You know, Alex here, he literally took my job at the school district. But I learned a lot from Alex. I know his family. I know what he means, what Mercedes means to him. So I know that he is one of the guys that will say all the time, Chief, don't worry about it. Don't worry about what's being said. You're doing great things. We're doing great things. I know that because I'm from here. So I know the people in town really appreciate everything the city and the Mercedes Police Department are doing. I just wanted to introduce the staff to everyone. And again, it's my honor to present that the Mercedes Police Department will have this plaque in our building. It is my honor to introduce it as a team, our agency Trilogy Award.
So, first of all, Chief, congratulations. I think it's important that people know how much commitment it takes to do. There's a reason why there's only a few agencies that do that. The commitment level has to be to losing them for several days, a week, sometimes a week at a time. And the knowledge that they gain is tremendous. The growth that they get is tremendous. It opens your eyes to what other agencies do. And I just, when I found out that you guys had committed to having everybody, and for people who don't know, they're not only committed to this, they're also committed to making sure that all their supervisors have all their FEMA required training to a level that most agencies wait till it's too late. So you guys are really moving and shaking, and I know a lot of it also is, your city manager has to allow it, and so you all need to be thankful for that too, because a lot of cities, they just won't do it. And I commend you guys, not only as a mayor, but as a citizen, because I know that it's going to take you guys way into the future. If you guys keep doing this, every time you get a supervisor, it's just going to make you that much better. And so I commend you for having that commitment. Other than this, on a personal level, I just want to tell you all that, and I can tell you that I had already heard about it, that you guys, the way you all would jump on things and all that stuff, but I had a personal a thing happen to me where I got burglarized at my house a couple weeks ago, and within the same day, the guy was in jail, and you guys got back my ice chest, my kids' beer, and the T-bone and the ribeye. They didn't. I don't know if the investigator kept them or the people did, but no, I'm just joking. It was evidence. It was evidence. Make sure. But we were very appreciative. I have my parents at home that I don't like leaving alone. So it was a big deal for them to know that somebody that violated us like that was put in jail. So I think you guys are doing a fantastic job. I think your leadership and your team's leadership. On a personal note, also the going out to all these functions that you guys do. I hear about it all the time. I hear about it from other agencies. And then lastly, that's for your whole team. For you, Chief, I don't know, for y'all that don't know Chief Sanchez for his age, and I go around telling everybody he's only 21, which pisses off his wife because it makes her a cradle robber. But he's a leader amongst the other agencies in this area. We joke around, some of the older cops, and we call them the young guns, but bottom line of it is, hell, everybody's a young gun compared to us. So the chief has really taken a leadership role in law enforcement, and I appreciate that. It's really it's a lot of pride for me to walk into a room and know that you put things together to bring cohesiveness amongst law enforcement. So I just wanted to make sure I thanked you and your staff for all of that. Guys, keep up the good work. You guys look sharp all the time. The units are always clean. I mean, all that's a big deal, man. And all that matters. And people matter. It matters to the people. So God bless you guys. Thank you. And just keep up the good work, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we get a picture? Let me take a picture.
Anybody got anything else? We got to take
No,
a
we're
picture?
just going to take a picture with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful work.
El último es el bueno.
Where do we go again? To get into the,
You gotta go
where is it? Yeah.
to the chat.
Someday.
Oh, it's in the chat, that's right. I was trying to remember.
Good
where-
meal, take over.
Yes, there you go.
All right. Moving on to item 6B, status update from Melvin and Hunt engineers on the water well project.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Mr. Pettis. For the record, my name is Mike Hernandez. I'm with Milton and Hunt Engineers, here to provide the council with an update report on the water well project that is being funded by the Bureau of Reclamation under the Water Smart Drought Response Program. The funding program is providing funds to build a groundwater well and also a conveyance system to bring water back to your treatment plant. What I'd like to do right now is come up to the council and provide you with some handouts. That way you can see what we've been doing and see so y'all can see also what's going to take place here in the future.
Thank you, sir.
This project, like I mentioned earlier, is being funded by the Bureau of Reclamation. And one of the biggest items that we need to do first is prepare what's called an environmental information document. That environmental document is to provide documentation to the federal agency that the city is doing this project following the NEPA program, which stands for the National Environmental Policy Act. And what we're trying to do is get a finding of no significant impact on this project. The first task that was involved is sending coordination letters to the various agencies. So we've prepared letters and we've sent them out to the Native American tribes, consisting of the Alabama Cocheta tribe, the Comanche Nation, the Tonkawa tribe. We've also sent letters to FEMA, the State Historical Commission, the Texas Parks and Wildlife, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The biggest agency I was really worried about was the Texas Historical Commission, because the last thing we want is for the Historical Commission to come back and tell the city, hey, y'all need to do an archaeological study. And that really delays the project and then also adds an additional expense. We got a response from the Historical Commission about 2 weeks ago saying, hey, your project looks good. If you've come across any archaeological findings or any other items that pertain to historical items, call us. But all in all, they're fine with the project. We did receive a response here this couple days ago from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, Ernesto Reyes, who's working out of the Santa Ana Refuge, and he's on board with also with the project. They want us to notify them if there's any, again, birds nesting in the area. And this project is we're targeting the park that's located on Champion Street and Fifth Street in that area. So again, we've gotten responses back from the Historical Commission, Texas Parks and Wildlife, FEMA also provided us a response, and they said, hey, just contact your local drainage district, notify them of the project, and that's what we've done. Also, we've received a response from the Army Corps of Engineers. We're responding to some comments that they had. Really, the only agency that we're pending comments from is from the Native American tribes and the Texas Parks and Wildlife. So if we don't get anything within the next 15 days, I'm going to move forward with finalizing the environmental information document. And what that does, Mayor and Council, is I got to publish it in the paper, notifying the general public that we're working on this program. We've received all these correspondences from the agencies, and then we'll post it. We'll put the report here at the office at the City Hall so people can come by and make comments to it. We need to do a 30-day period for where the city can come in and look at that report. After that 30-day period, what we'll do is we'll notify the public that we're going to have a public hearing meeting to notify the public of the project. They can come into the city council chambers. We'll talk about the project, the funding program, and what the project's going to entail. At that time, we'll take any comments, we'll incorporate them into the environmental information document and turn that in to the funding agency, which is the Bureau of Reclamation. Once they approve that environmental information document, we have the green light to move forward and putting together, we're currently putting together contract documents and specifications. Our hydrogeologist, Kevin Spencer, is working on that so we can do a test well. The test well will allow us to drill to a certain depth, maybe 300 feet, identify the water quality that's underneath, how much we'll be able to produce, and then also we'll get that analysis submitted to TCEQ so they can allow us to move forward with building a permanent well to do for municipal use. Currently, we have Kevin Spencer, our hydrogeologist, working on those submittals too, the specifications, and also so we can do a temporary well and a production well. What you have in front of you is really a report that identifies, we've been working with staff, trying to get data from your existing well to be able to provide that to our hydrogeologist to do some analysis. You currently have a well that produces about 1,200 gallons per minute, which equates to about 1.7 million gallons. It's set at, I believe it's about 300 to 400 feet in depth. So that data that was provided to us by your water plant operators is good data. So what we really want to see in this new well is see what the total dissolved solids are in the water, see how much salt is in there. Because if it's too high, Mayor or Council, we'll use that well, we'll try to blend it, but we can't blend, use both wells at the same time. We can alternate so we can stay within the TCEQ parameters. Another thing that we can look at, Mayor and Council, is look for potential funding to build a small little RO facility there in the park to have two sources of water, one from your surface plant coming in from Irrigation District 9, and then we can have a small little RO facility at the park. And what I'd like to do is give you another handout. And we did a little layout of what that would look like there at the park. That shows a little RO facility, ground storage tanks, and conveyance system. Everything's really well. First page is really just an overview of what we're looking at producing, building that well. Again, it's on Chapman and Fifth Street. We have to, in that 150-foot sanitary easement, perfect within that property. So we don't have to capture any easements from anybody. If you turn to page 2, it gives you a little bit of a closer view. If we build an RO facility, Mayor and Council, we have a drain ditch there where we can discharge our concentrate into all the the salt and let it drain out to the Laguna Madre. Again, page 3 is a closer look at what that would look like. If it turns out, Mayor, that the well has really high solids, total dissolved solids, which means a high content, maybe about 2 million gallons per 2,000 milligrams per liter, we're going to have to possibly look for potential funding to treat that water with an RO system. Again, this is just a small little RO packet with a ground storage tank to treat the water, little high service pumps to pump it into the distribution system, treat it, or chemical bulk storage, and then you would have a second, what I would call another water treatment plant within the city, if that's the case. So right now, the big task that we need to do is finish the environmental, bring the report here, have the general public come look at it, give them a 30-day grace period to make comments, and then we'll have a public hearing, close that public hearing, submit all that documentation to the Bureau of Reclamation so we can move forward with doing a test well, do the test well, and then finalize that with a full production well.
Mayor, I have a question if I may.
Oh, go ahead.
Quick. I'm looking at the current proposed site and I have a question for you. More or less, how far is the well going to be from the drainage ditch itself that we have there?
That drainage ditch is I would say maybe 100, 150 feet, 200 feet, 150 feet.
Okay.
That's 100, that big circle's a 150-foot sanitary control easement. And that drainage is perfect because if we need to do an RO facility, I got to clean all that water, run that water to the membranes and the salt content. I have to discharge it. So this is a perfect site to do an RO facility.
So just the same, in the event of a heavy storm and we have major flooding in that area, would that affect the pump itself as far as?
So what we
working and all
do,
that?
Mr. Martinez, is when we design the well needs to be up at a certain elevation.
Okay.
That's based on TCEQ. So again, so it doesn't get contaminated with flooding. The same thing with our facilities. If we need to do an RO facility, again, a lot of that takes into consideration that we need to raise up the site and get it out of a flood zone area if that's the issues. with flooding.
The only reason is because last few storms, it was pretty bad in that area. So that's why. I was
TCEQ mandates us to design it as per their requirements to avoid issues like that.
More or less, what's the requirement on the height? I'm just
We
curious.
got to be at least 24 inches,
Okay.
18 to 24 inches above the natural ground.
But in the event of shit, God forbid it ever gets to that point. I mean, would
Again,
the
in the
pump be
event
able
the
to
well's
function?
protected, it's got steel casing, it's got all that piping above ground.
Yeah.
So the well's protected. What we really got to worry about is the facilities. If we do end up building an RO facility there, we got to make sure that we protect it, have proper drainage so
Yes,
we
sir.
don't get any flooding.
And I presume that that's being taken into consideration considering the
Oh,
locality.
at all times. Sir.
Perfect. I was just curious about that, considering
That's a very good
proximity
question.
to the ditch.
A good question, yeah. A lot of our treatment plants that we've done like this wells, we build them very close to drain ditches because again, we treat the water, we got to get rid of that salt that comes out of the RO, and most of the time they're close to drain ditches. To give you a timeline of where we're at with this, I anticipate finalizing the environmental information document in the next 30 days, bring it to the city hall, advertise in the paper. I'm just waiting on 2 of the agencies that we sent letters. Once I get those letters, we'll bring the document over here. We'll advertise in the paper, notifying the public that, hey, go by City Hall, review the report, make comments. That way I can incorporate those comments into the report. After those 30 days, I'll get that back to the agency and then we'll publish again so we can have a public hearing here at the city.
I may have not heard. I'm just curious. Do we need to have any kind of public hearing for this, or is it?
Yeah, we did.
I just wanted, I probably
We gotta
didn't
do
hear
a
that
public
part.
hearing. That's part of the NEPA.
Okay.
Part of the environmental information document that I gotta notify the public. I gotta advertise in the monitor.
Yeah.
Tell them that we're doing this.
I can tell you right now, we gotta have a plan to move the flora and fauna thing there.
Or the well.
The what?
The well there is in good location.
That's our garden.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I can explain to somebody, huh? Oh yeah, can you speak it? That's what I said. We're gonna have to make sure we got that planned out.
Yeah.
But what I did here, Mayor, was I wanted to show the city council what's possible within this property.
Yeah.
So,
Well, even just paying right away and all that, finding a place that works and all that
Yeah.
is a huge cost to moving. We just got to find a nice place for these plants.
I mean, is that something that we would have to do in the immediate, or is it something that we could prepare for?
You can prepare for it, and what I like for the city to plan is also plan ahead and get you prepared so we can always seek additional funding to build this RO facility. Because right now the funding that we have is just it's targeted for building a production well and a conveyance system. So
What is the cost of the RO and what's the capacity of there's tanks and there's a capacity in terms of how much it can
that is
process or
that's a very good
treat in a day?
question, Dr. Saldana. What we got to do first is drill that test well to see how much water we can get. We're looking at producing maybe close to 2,000 gallons per minute. And that equates to about, I'll tell you right now, 2,000 gallons per
An
minute.
engineer will let you do the math.
It's about 2.8 million gallons of water per day that we'd be producing out of that facility. So again, depending on the analysis and the water quality, that'll determine the size of the RO facility. And we're doing a similar site like this, and we're looking at maybe $3 million to build an RO facility like that. Ground storage tank, high service pumps, a chemical building, the building itself, all the electrical switchgear necessary to run the facility. So we're looking about $3 million just for an RO. The well right now is going to be funded by the Bureau of Reclamation. So again, once we do the test well, we'll be able to find out what the water analysis is going to be like, and if we need to plan for future RO facility
So,
treatment.
so if I can, Mike,
Yes.
there's always questions from people, right? I want to make sure, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I want to identify some stuff, at least on my part. The goal of the city wasn't to build a well. The goal of the city is to be independent of the risks that's associated with relying on the Rio Grande River. So far, so good, right?
That's what you're doing.
So it's not just to build a well. At the end of the day, our goal is to not be reliant on something that's up and down depending on the situation. So the well, digging of the well would be so that I assume we're operating still under 3,000 acre feet of water per year, right? I think it's like 2,200 as we're operating right now. So the idea is to at some point produce our own 2,200 acre feet of water or more, right?
yeah.
But we'll still have access to the river, right? To raw water.
You'll always have access to the river. You always want to have an alternative.
Yes.
So here, District 9's canal breaks down. It takes some days to fix that canal. The city doesn't have a reservoir. So that's when those two wells would come into play to have that backup also.
And I'm glad you said that because, and I'm preempting this because there are some people that know about water and they'll start asking questions and I want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. The reservoir is a great idea, but it's made to keep you going for a few days. It's not made to operate you. So people will tell me sometime, why don't y'all just build a reservoir? It's cheap, right? Well, McAllen has a humongous reservoir and it's only good for about 3 or 4 days for McAllen to operate on. So for us, what our goal is, I want to make sure that the public knows, our goal is to eventually be independent, and so that our water, and at the end of the day, our citizens want to know that when they turn on their faucet, they're going to get water.
That's correct.
So I don't want people getting lost on the cost here.
No.
We're going after grants.
Correct.
This whole thing may end up costing us $5-6 million. But at the very least, we've already paid for one of the most expensive components, which is the well, right?
Correct.
And then the next level up would be to do and that's only if the water is not at 1,000, correct?
Correct.
And if I'm not mistaken, we're currently above 1,000 anyway with the one that we have operational, right?
Currently, you're at the existing
12
well
or
produces
1,500.
between 1,200 to 1,500 TDS, and you're blending it right now with raw water to lower
To
those
bring it
levels,
down
to
to
bring-
the acceptable level. So I just want to make sure that the message out there is we're not doing this just because we want to. If we're going to be compatible, we have to offer something as a city to tell somebody who may go to, and I don't want to compete with McAllen, Farr, Edinburgh. It's about everybody having an equal opportunity, right? So where we want to be as a city is to be in a place where we say, look, you need water, we got it.
Correct.
We're not going to run out of it. We have an ample amount of it. If everybody else is having a hard time of it. So if your industry requires a lot of water, we want to be in that game. So does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Go ahead.
No, I agree with you, Mayor. I think more importantly is, you know, the way things have been going as far as our drought condition is concerned.
Yep.
We have to have alternatives because you never know. You know, God forbid that the river runs dry one day
And I
everybody's
commend,
scrambling, you know?
the council and staff and management for moving in this direction, because there's a lot of entities, big entities larger than Mercedes, that are trying to catch up and play. And you guys are already ahead of them and doing this project. So I commend
It's
you
your
guys.
job's to keep us ahead.
Yes.
Yours and Albert's, man, because I call him and remind him all the time.
So I commend the
Michael, this
council.
was a fantastic presentation. Appreciate it. Appreciate your patience.
Are you going to be involved with the process to find a source of grants or funding for that?
We're
Or
always here to help the city.
okay,
I mean, that's our area of expertise.
is that an
We're always
Umberto
helping.
thing?
We're always helping our clients locate funding. So that's what we do.
All right.
All right, Mike, thanks for being the
Thank you.
face of Meldon and Hunt, sir.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
God bless you, brother. Thank you for a good presentation.
Thank you.
Guys, I apologize for that, but I just, man, I had some conversations with some people about this particularly, and I think there's some people that have some real dangerous information. So we need to make sure that we're all on the same page. So,
Hey, Mayor, for whatever it's worth, land's very expensive
yep.
to build a reservoir. And you want to build a reservoir that's maybe on a 60 to 80, 100 acre site, you're going to pay some big dollars.
Plus, we've got to pay for the conveyance
You
of
gotta
how to
pay for
get
the
it to a
conveyance
drainage
to-
ditch. This is like the Lord's blessing us with a spot,
Yes,
you know?
this is perfect
So-
location. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Just hope the water's good.
As long as the water's good. That's the whole intent, is to
We're
identify
gonna
that.
send you to go talk to Texas A&M about moving their plants, so
Let's do that.
their plants and trees.
All right,
Thank you,
guys.
sir.
Thank you, brother.
That's skateboard park too.
That's right, man. It's done. All right. Luckily, we have the guy that decides here with us. So, moving on to consent agenda. I have item A: approval of minutes for the meeting held on June 3rd, 2025, and June 6th, 2025.
Mayor, make a motion to approve minutes for meetings June 3rd, 2025 and June 6th, 2025.
Motion by Commissioner Martinez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garcia. All those in favor say aye.
Make a comment on that.
Aye.
Oh,
Sure.
second. My bad. Go ahead, sir.
Mayor and Commissioner, I just want to point out, City Secretary's been on top of the minutes. It used to be, no, seriously, it used to be, they were running behind not too long ago. She's got new technology and she's able to keep up with minutes a lot quicker. So we're basically right on top of the minutes as the meetings are coming out.
She looks a lot less stressed too.
Good job.
Keep up the good work. We appreciate you, Ms. Secretary. Moving on to, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to item 8A, management, present, discuss, consider, possible take action regarding discussion, possible action on appointment and reappointment to the library board. What, no grant? Really?
No, no grant right now. Sorry.
Just joking. man.
Wow.
Wow. That's an anomaly.
Sorry, we're falling behind.
Spend the one she's already got.
There you go.
I do have to spend the ones I already got. I'm working on that. So the library board actually has
Which one? I'm sorry, I didn't hear
the
what?
library
Oh,
board.
library board.
Yes. We have a total of 4 board members that were up for reappointment. It's Miss Deborah Benedict, Miss Lori Marchant, Miss Diane Roman Goldsberry, and Miss Yolanda Cruz. All of them do wish to continue serving. So if you do decide to reappoint them, they would continue until March 2028.
What's your recommendation?
Oh, I recommend that we appoint them. Yes, they've been wonderful board members. We've been very happy with them. And then Miss Chantel Goray, which we did appoint back in like June of last year. And at first she was very communicative, but then she disappeared and she made it to no meetings. But the way our bylaws are written, we had to wait for her to not make 3 meetings. So in that time, we have had Ms. San Juana Palacios, soon to be Sanchez, that's why I put there. She's asked to apply to be on our board. She was one of our staff members. She's a very active community member. I think most of you know her. She does want to be on our board, so she would take the place of that board member, and she would have her term run until June 2027. So I would also recommend that we appoint her. She volunteers, she helps with her friends, so
Mayor, make a motion to go ahead and approve recommendations by the library board.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martinez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Saldana. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am. Moving on to item 9A, approval of resolution 2025-15 regarding civil rights for the 2019 floods HMID competition grant.
Mayor, make approval of the resolution 2025-15 for the civil rights 2019 floods grant, excuse me,
And we're gonna read the resolution, or you wanna?
or forego the reading. My apologies.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martinez. I have a second by Dr. Saldana. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to 10A, approval to award a contractor bid number 2025-002 Dakota Avenue roadway improvement project.
Mayor, Commissioners, we had 9 bids that actually bidded on this project. It's a paving of Dakota, which is a budgeted funded item. And the recommended, our project engineer actually recommended to go ahead and go with Eberly Materials, if approved, for the total amount of $437,855. That includes the base, which is 6 inches of caliche compressed, and then 7 inches of cement
Okay.
on the industrial part.
Okay,
This
good.
is gonna be a
because
concrete road.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So,
Good.
so
It'll
yeah,
last a little
man.
longer.
I'm glad you said that, 'cause, I know that somebody was saying the other day. Again, I hate to listen to these things, but it can catch fire, right? When people are saying, "Well, who's out there?" I said, when they don't understand how much land there is there, and what a business corridor that is for us, and the interest that there is in that area. So
And there's
I'm
a
glad
lot
we're
of
doing
heavy
cement.
equipment going
Yes.
in and out of it as
Yeah,
well.
I'm glad that we're using the heavy duty, and that's a pretty good price. So anybody, everybody okay with that? Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the recommended company for
I have a
the
motion
project.
by Dr. Howell. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garcia. Any more discussion?
I'm just a couple of comments. I'm glad to see so many bidders in there. I'm glad to see Jimmy Klausner in there. I wish he was the lower bid, but he wasn't, obviously. But it was, and I'm glad to see the concrete. I assume that came from the engineers, because I don't remember hearing anything about a concrete road in there, and 13 inches worth of the base, and then the concrete. Hopefully we won't have to fix it anytime soon.
Correct. Well, the engineer Omar Cano from Supreme,
Right.
he actually just did about 3 in City of FAR,
Okay.
in their industrial park. But they went, I think, to 8 or 9 inches of cement.
Wow. All right. That's all I got.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to item 11A. Departmental reports. We have planning, city secretary, HR, IT, library, PIO, recreation center, finance, fire, and parks.
Any questions for anybody?
No, I do want to just commend Parks for the basketball court. I know that was something that I hadn't got an opportunity to tell you in person, but it was really nice to hear that while you guys were out there fixing it up, kids were already ready to go. I'm very happy about that. That's something that it's taken us a while to do, but I'm glad that we finally started going in that direction. So thank you, Mondo. Thank you, Marina. I know you guys are working hand in hand out there. So thank you guys for that. I'm sure the kids are thankful for it. And I know you guys are going to, continue to put the lights up and other things like that. And I know we've been talking about how we're going to develop the dome. And Mondo was just telling me that you guys are also focusing on HEB Park over here. So I'm glad to see that, man. I'm glad to see that we're putting attention on our main parks. And I know that you guys are having a plan for the smaller parks in the neighborhoods. So it's just an awesome thing to see, man, and the feedback that we got from the public was really positive, but more so just really just proud of the job that you guys did, because it wasn't a halfway job. It was a really good deal, man. And the court came out beautiful. I mean, it looked really nice. I think I had to kind of double check to make sure this was Mercedes, man. But you guys are changing that whole culture thing, and I think to each department head their own. You guys are doing all of that in your own way. Every single department, library, fire, police, parks, HR, everybody, all you guys have been a very positive change for the city, man. So we're thankful. And I was reading about the whole deal, and I was reading some of the comments, and people's perception of our city is that it's a ghetto. But little by little, we're changing that mindset. We're changing that perception. And it's because of the hard work that each and every one of you guys do. So I would say in general, thank you all for that. But more importantly, thank you, the parks guys. Thank you guys. Couldn't be more proud of the project. So good job, guys. Thank you.
Mano, would you come up for just a second? Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So I was wondering if you could give us an update on when I know the baseball leagues are done.
They're wrapping up this month.
Okay.
So they had
and-
a couple makeup games that they needed to do, and then they had some end of season tournaments that they were hosting here. So I got that last email, I think Friday. So it looks like they'll be wrapped up by the end of the month.
Awesome.
Yes.
And thank you for taking on. I know there was a lot of drama and stuff, and you took it on. For the most part, everything went on pretty well.
Yes, sir.
So thank you for that as well.
Yes, sir.
My curiosity is, when do you think we're going to get started on fixing up the parks? What you had talked about.
The baseball fields.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just waiting for their season to wrap up. So we do have the quote is still good.
Okay, good.
I had spoken to the vendor prior, so it ended up working out with his schedule because he had some projects that he needed to work on, and Pony and Little League were ready to get started. So now that they're wrapped up, we're hoping that he should be available to come in as soon as they get done. So
Okay, and if you can do you happen to have the plan of attack and what we're
Yes,
going to
sir.
see when we're done?
yeah, I have the scope.
Because
of
I know
work
there was
there.
a turnkey job, and then there was one that was piecemeal. We ended up with the turnkey, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
what we're looking at is the only thing is that I'm looking at making some minor adjustments to some of the work on the infield. The more and more I look at it, just kind of pricing it out because of the cost of the red dirt going up every single year. It's been increasing. So I'm going to talk to the vendor about keeping the infield's grass, but just still coming back and we would level them off, do all the same work, but the infields would be grass rather than going to all dirt, all red dirt. So I'm gonna just kind of weigh out, see what those costs would be, and then try to forecast what the cost would be, here and then in 5 years, depending on that increase of the red dirt. So if maintenance wise, I think if it makes more sense for us to keep the grass in the infields, then that's what we'll do. But again, I'm gonna kind of go based on what he's telling me. Right, they're the experts on that.
So we're gonna I'm trying to go by memory, but we're gonna resod. We're gonna make sure all the lights are up and running.
So we've already purchased all the lights.
Okay.
We identified the outages.
When we say all, we're talking about all 4 fields?
Yes,
Okay.
all 4 fields. So we had identified, and we had close to 60 outages, I think, in
Yeah,
total.
I heard about that.
So we purchased all the lights. Again, it was just we were really short on time there before these
Right.
leagues got going. So right now, what I'm going to need is just to find a vendor to do the install. We purchased about 75 lights, so we have some extra there on hand in case any other outages come up. So we'll get a vendor to do the installation, and then what we need to do is identify if there's any ballasts that are out. So first step would be to replace the bulb. That's the cheapest option. And then if that doesn't fix the problem, then we'll jump to the ballast and the fuses. But we'll get that taken care of. And then the fields is going to be coming back, grading them, leveling them off, fixing them to where they drain in the proper direction. So these kids are not running at an incline. They're going to have a slightly bit of a crown, but it won't be so much to where it affects their playing, backfilling the holes. And then I want to say that in the outfields, we would do like a top dressing to the outfields as well.
Perfect.
So
I 2 things. Knowing you, the little I've gotten to know you, you probably already know this, and I know Albert is too, but this has to last forever, whether we're here or not, right? But we used to play on some really nice fields back in the day. Our parks, everything was pristine when they first made them. And cities, counties, everybody, they never budget for maintenance. And I would like to see everything you're doing, but that there be a maintenance budget every year to make sure. I don't care if a hole gets dug in the red dirt. I don't care if somebody goes and does donuts. We need to fix it. And the only way to do that is to have a budget for it. So I'm asking you, recommending that when during budget time, which is coming, that we make, if we have to make a particular line item for it, or we just have to increase budget, but I think maintenance have to be a part of it. Same thing with the restrooms. I know restrooms get vandalized and everything, and so I'm gonna put pressure on the police chief every chance I get that they catch them, as opposed to closing the restrooms. I have a real issue
And
with that.
I agree, sir.
And I don't care. We need to get cameras. The budget's coming. Albert will just not talk to me for 2 or 3 weeks. I'm okay with that. But budget's coming, and if we have to put cameras up, whatever it takes. But I just you know. And then lastly, along those same lines, I was a little disappointed that people paid to be in a league, and then we cut the games down to 2 innings, and I don't know if it's because of lights. I don't know why it happened. I wasn't even there, so I'm only going by what I was told. But we need to keep our word. When we say we're gonna do something, we need to do it. So we need to figure out something for that, whether we run the league, whatever the case may be. I heard some of your ideas through Albert. I commend you on taking that chance, and I, for one, would support something strong like that, where that won't happen again.
Richard and I have already started working. We jumped ahead of it, probably a couple months ahead, but we've already met with other cities similar in size to us that have had basically the same issues that we've been having with some of the organizations or the leadership within the organizations. They've been looking for a bit of an out as well, so we've kind of
Yeah, I was
had
gonna
that
say, before
discussion.
it takes off, I'm
Yeah.
not saying that the leadership did something wrong. At the end of the day, they did what they had to survive the way they did. And sometimes leadership means 2 or 3 people, and that's hard.
Yeah.
Back in our day, there was 20 people on a board. Now it's like they're lucky they got 3 or 4 to volunteer, right?
10.
So whatever the case may be, I want to say that I applaud your ideas and stuff like that. So I can't speak for the whole commission. I'm speaking for myself, but it's high time that we get to that point. So
Thank you, sir. On the restrooms, also, the chief has been supportive. We've spoken. He's already said that, he would help with officers closing the restrooms if we needed to get them closed a little later in the evening. So we'll work that out with.
Mayor,
with
can I
him.
incorporate
yes, sir,
something real
absolutely,
quick?
absolutely.
I just want to, in pertaining to you and what you got going on, and we got Chief Sanchez here on some of the other stuff. You're bringing up budget time. Is there a way that we can get an update from our energy consultants on what is going on with our lighting situation? Because it seems like the fields need lights. We need lights at the domes. We have lights out throughout the whole city. I'm sending Frank all kinds of text messages and all kinds of stuff. And I'm just curious because when you go down Texas, for example, we have different lights and different lanterns. Some are out, some are not. And so it just seems like lighting's an issue in different areas, the parks and the city and all that. And so I'm just curious, we're getting near budget time. We're talking about all this lighting and stuff. And I'm just curious, like, what's the game plan?
So we can
Because
invite him for the next meeting.
I mean,
but
it'd be
there's
great,
a
Albert, 'cause-
total of 68 lights that were turned into AEP.
Yeah.
And they're queue. They're
Yeah.
supposed to be going around town.
But there's also like one where me and Chief Sanchez on what was it, 14th in Maryland, right?
There's 68
bro,
lights.
we're-
sir.
no,
68
yeah.
lights are not gonna get done overnight.
No, I understand, Albert. But there's some that we've already reported multiple times. We got one right here, right next to the stars that I've already called in twice.
I can't control AEP. All I
I
can
get
tell
you,
you
I
is
get you.
68 were turned in, and some of these 68 may have included some of what have
Yeah.
been previously reported.
Yeah.
So we have them on it, and we're following up every week, because in some cases they're telling us, we can't find this one, and we go back to, here it is.
Yeah, no,
So
it's just
we're getting them Latin long and everything.
Yeah. I'll just give you an example. The lights that they were able to put up, the
I think
LED.
we ought to call AEP.
No, for sure. But I'm talking
Those are the
about.
problem. That's the problem.
I'm down with that. But what I'm saying is, I'd also like to look at the cost of what it would take for us to go ahead and turn all those lights downtown into LED eventually.
And there's a plan for that.
Yeah, because I mean, I like the way that section looks right there, where they put them in. I mean, that looks really nice, and I'd like to see if we can get that all the way down South Texas as far as we possibly could.
There's a plan and a cost associated with it. But we'll definitely invite them. But I think more importantly, we ought to bring AEP why y'all have been turning in reports and they've been ignoring them.
Yeah.
Because
I
those have
turned
been,
them in, and the ones I turned in, they came and fixed, so.
okay.
maybe I
But
just-
the ones he's
Yeah,
talking
I've
about in
submitted a few.
Maryland, That's been happening for quite some time, right?
And it just went out again, bro. It just went out again. The one on 14th Maryland.
Maybe you have a special connection, Commissioner.
I don't, I just got lucky.
I'm just saying because it seems like lighting is a constant discussion in different areas. And you're right, we're approaching budget time, and maybe that's where we need to start asking, well, what would it cost to make the whole downtown look a little bit more nicely illuminated, right? You know, something like that. That's all.
Good point.
No problem. Good point.
Trying to fight with you.
No, you're not.
Y'all are doing great work. I love all the, I mean, it's forward progress. It's visible. It's, you know, we're headed in the right direction, and I just think it's great. So
I mean,
Blossom Park guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both of you guys. You too, Maureen.
so I know he's working on the Frisbee golf. You want to kind of give him a tidbit on the bike trail. I know you're going to give a report maybe in the next meeting.
Yeah, so the mountain bike trail, I know that we got with one of the citizens. He had offered up some of his land here heading over west on Old 83, right after the floodway. So they've already built a roughly 10 miles of mountain bike trail that's going to be accessible to anybody from Mercedes that wants to use it. So I have set on my schedule. We've been missing each other, but Mario and I are supposed to go out there, and he's going to take me out, and you know, because he was part of the group that was kind of pushing for that. I know that we used some gentlemen from Harlingen and from Bronzeville, volunteer guys as well, and then Mr. Button, I believe is his name. It's his property. So the plan was for us to build on the west side of the dome by the levee. We were going to build some mountain bike trail there, and then make the connections, try to get with IBWC and see if they would allow us just to use their area just to ride from behind the dome and make the connection to Mr. Button's property. So that's still in the plan. We're still trying. We got to get approval to do that. But they've already completed 10 miles of it. So
That's awesome, man.
and on the disc golf, well, we have everything. But after the last meeting, I really agree with the parking. I think we do need to do that if we plan on bringing in people. So right now we're working on blocking off the area so that we don't get people getting onto the property or parking on the grounds anymore. And I'm hoping that maybe we can do something like we had talked about, whether it be just a caliche sub base and, you know, for parking, and then with the intent to come back and do an overlay after when we do
The
have
commissioner,
money.
maybe the commissioner will help us out with the caliche. We pay the caliche forced labor.
So
Awesome, man. Maybe we can get maybe one of the chiefs will volunteer to send their drone out there to take a picture of the bike trail. That'd be pretty cool.
oh, you know what? Yeah, we can.
That'd be nice.
And you know, I know David has his drone that he's always flying because they have an organization, Valley Off-Road Biking, something at Borb, I believe.
A better idea would be you go on a bike with a GoPro and show us the
If
trail.
y'all want to see a crash
Hey,
up
that'd be
close,
cool.
I'll go on the, I'll get on the bike.
Then
gotta
record
do it
our
with
EMS getting there. There you go.
I'll lend you a GoPro.
Job
If y'all
security
wanna
for
see
the
my-
fabulous
a bunch
service.
of front flips
Hey,
here,
real,
I'll do
real
it.
quick there. How are we looking on the summer programs? I know a lot of people are telling me that they like the swimming classes, stuff like that.
Thank y'all.
I hear that's
You,
pretty awesome.
Mondo,
Thank you.
keep up the
Thank
good
you,
work, brother.
Mondo.
Good evening, Commissioner Richard Modine, Rec Center. As far as the summer programs, we got obviously our summer programs going on for the kids, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5. We registered about 115 kids right now.
Perfect.
So we're averaging about 80 kids and stuff. Swimming lessons, they started this week, and both sessions got booked. So we already got, the first session runs for 3 weeks, and then the second session is going to start in July, and that's already booked also. We got all the participants. What me and Lee are working on now is, because we've had a spark of interest from adults that want to learn how to swim. So we got maybe like about 8 or 10 people that signed up. So once we finish with those lessons, I'll talk to Puckett, and hopefully we can do something for the adults.
Probably a
I'm
dumb.
sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
man. I want to make sure that now that we got our new
Eddie?
public information officer, I want to make sure that you guys, coordinate and work and
Yeah.
put that information
Yeah.
out there.
We,
so
we forward everything that
Perfect,
Eddie's been
perfect.
posting everything for us
Okay.
and stuff.
just, that an easier way for us to get the word out and try to get these things filled right away. So good work, man.
So, Ms. Modine, and you may be already doing this, and if you are, I apologize. But so I know we have issues in finding lifeguards. A lot of people do. You guys worked your butt off to get what you needed now. I think it kind of controls our hours, right? Trying to
Yeah.
be able to find people. So when I was a kid, I guess I was 6, 7 years old. My mom started taking me, and so they had a program where you got like whatever. I'm just gonna make it up. It was like guppy and then frog and then whatever, right? You jumped, and so at the end, by the time I turned 14 or 15, I was able to get my
Great white
life-saving swimming, but it kept me coming every summer. I would get excited because I knew it was coming. Do y'all have a program like that where they graduate every year?
Not- No, that's,
Goldie and Gus is one. Ours was different.
that's a swimming program.
No, that's the name of it, Goldie and Gus.
Yeah.
Goldie and Gus, bro.
No, but ours wasn't Goldie and Gus.
No,
man.
no,
It was
Goldie-
70s.
Yeah, Goldie,
Pedro and Maria.
Goldie and Gus was a swimming lesson program that we would get chartered every year. and
Right.
stuff. So we had to pay a charter and we kind of like, just so we could use the characters and stuff. So we kind of fizzled out from that. As far as for lifeguards, now we did try this last year to where we got a pool in and we got them in like in February. And I'll just be honest with you. We had like about 14 applicants and they dropped. It was tough. It's
But
tough.
that's my point, yeah.
So that's the thing that now that we're working with Lee, like we got a couple of individual girls that are coming in as lifeguards and they are very green, but I told Lee, let's bring them on board. Let's work with them. Let's train them. And, maybe we can't put them out there to use, but little by little, we'll have them maybe do some sideline perimeter supervision. And then you're working with them throughout the summer. And then we keep it going throughout the year because, he does have he has like 5 guards right now. And then we got these 2 more guards that are coming in. So we're at 7. So that's a good number to have right there. But a couple of these guards, like I said, we're going to have to work with them and get them a little more seasoned. And that's something that me and Lee discussed. Well, maybe next year, that's something that if, we can get them to come, and I know it's the off season. I know maybe they'd be willing to do it on a volunteer basis. We can't pay them, but they can come in and train with us throughout the year, given that, of course, that the water is swimmable because during the cold months it's tougher and stuff like that. And then, of course, also depending on Lee's schedule and stuff and everything. So we are working on that. So that's something that hopefully we can,
So it sounds
continue.
like you're working hard at an existing group of existing age group as a pool.
Yes.
What I'm saying is that pool will become full and it'll go back to where it's perpetual. If I don't know what it costs to do the Gus and Goldie or whatever it is, but I think it'll pay off in the long run. So just to give you an idea, when I was a kid, there was a bunch of us that did swimming. So all the lifeguards knew our names because we were gonna show up. We'd ask for the same basket number. It became, I knew my way around a swimming pool. So it was just natural for me to apply as soon as I was old enough to work to be a lifeguard. And then eventually I became the pool manager and on and on. So what I'm saying is that, and several of my friends did too. So what I'm saying is that in order to create that pool, if we start them, my grandson and my granddaughter, and my other grandson, he's just 3 months old. In 3 months, he'll be going to swimming lessons. They've all been in swimming lessons. So the goal is to hopefully my 2-year-old granddaughter continues to go and that she's a lifeguard someday, right? And we make it look like a family legacy because both of my sons did it. So what I'm saying is if we create that, we may not, and it's a small thing, but it's not for a city when they're looking for lifeguards.
Right.
So I don't know what the cost is to do a Goldie whatever.
So what we did this year, as far as like our swimming lessons, I got with Lee and we broke it down. So what we did is we strictly said, okay, this first session, we're only going to take non-swimmers and beginners. And we broke them down. We're taking ages from 0 to 3. And then we're going to take ages from 3 to 6. So that's something that we want to try and continue and then just try and grow. And then if the kids, obviously, and then after that, the next session, we're going to take older kids from 6 to 12.
Perfect.
So that's what we're trying to do. And it's just kind of build up and everything.
Perfect.
So hopefully maybe that answers your question a little bit. you
Yep.
know, But that's what we're doing.
Yep. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Then I have item 12, executive session. With executive session, chapter 551, Texas Government Code, section 551.071, consultation with attorney, section 551.072, deliberation regarding real property, section 551.074, personnel matters, and section 551.07, economic development. Oh, I'm sorry. What's up?
I'll ask her here in a minute.
Okay. I have a motion to go into executive session on those items I just mentioned.
Make a motion, Mayor, to go to executive session.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martinez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garcia. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7:34 PM, and we are in executive session. It is 6:30. I'm sorry, 8:34 p.m. and we're back in regular session. I believe we have nothing on the agenda, correct? That vote on. So do I have a motion to adjourn? Item number 14. I have a motion by Commissioner Garcia. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Howells. In favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. It is 8:34.
God bless and go Tigers.
Go
Mercedes.
Tigers.